One of the most common questions that you'll get about living a nomadic lifestyle. How do you poop on the road? Today we're going to be going over the 5 toilet options that you have for your schoolie, your van conversion, or other home on wheels. And we're going to be going in order of least convenient to most convenient. Option number 1. Flushing toilets. Now these are toilets that flush and feed your waste into a black tank. Now these are not great options for a few reasons. Wet flush toilets, I'm sure you're all familiar with, and on the road we don't want to waste any water. So wasting any amount of water, half gallon here, half gallon there, just to go to the bathroom once, it's not a great proposition. So wet flush toilets, bad idea. Now you might be thinking, well, what about dry flush toilets? Okay, dry flush toilets are really cool. They use vacuum suction to pull your waste through your plumbing and then into your black tank. No water wasted. I like that a lot better. But my main problem with flushing toilets is they hold your waste in a black tank. Now you can't just go around emptying your black tank everywhere like it's Nickelodeon in 2001. Need I say any more? You're not gonna find a dump station on every street corner. So I don't recommend flushing toilets. Wet flush toilets waste water, and having a black water tank limits the amount of places that you can dump your waste. Yet another disadvantage to flushing toilets feeding into a black tank is you're probably gonna need some toilet chemicals. Now this just sounds gross. Who wants a bottle labeled toilet chemicals sitting in their beautiful build? Nobody. Now, the reason you need this is because the plumbing of your black tank is so close to your toilet that it's very easy for smells to leak up through the tubes and leak into your living area. Now, this is super gross. You don't want to be smelling that stuff. So what you do is you pour these chemicals down the drain of your toilet to neutralize the smell. And it's basically going to make everything smell like a porta potty, which is also gross. Option number 2. Cassette toilets. Now cassette toilets I consider a step up from toilets that flush into a black tank because cassette toilets are much easier to empty. You don't need a dedicated RV dump station to dump these. They are self-contained units with a small portable black tank on the bottom that allows you to pull the black tank out, roll it over to any municipal toilet, and empty your waste out so you can get back on the road quickly. Any rest stops that you find, anywhere, a porta potty even, you can empty these a lot more places than you can a big, disgusting black tank. Option number 3. Now this one might be a little controversial. I consider this easier than cassette toilets, okay? Option number 3 is gonna be pooping in a bag. What? Okay, let me explain myself. Especially before the pandemic, pooping in a bag was a much more viable option. Okay, most of the time you're going to be in town during the day, in which case you can probably find a public restroom at a cafe, restaurant, Walmart, wherever. Now, if you're out boondocking, well, you're out boondocking. You get your trowel out, you dig a hole, you do your business in the earth like God intended, and you get on your merry way. Now, the only times you're going to need a toilet are going to be it's an emergency, it's 3 a.m., or you're in the middle of nowhere and you're stranded on a highway. Okay, well, what do you do here? You get your bag, you poop in it, you tie it off, and you throw it away at the nearest municipal garbage bin. This is totally fine. After all, dumps and trash cans hold baby diapers, adult diapers, teenage diapers. Oh yeah, and doggy poops. Now there are a couple of things to keep in mind to do this correctly. Now you're probably gonna want to go number 1 first, okay? Get rid of that pee in a bottle. They sell female devices for, funneling everything. You want to get rid of that stuff first, okay? You don't want to mix liquids and solids if you can avoid it. And the next thing is if you don't feel comfortable just hitting a fat Slav squat and praying that your aim is on point that day into a plastic bag on the floor. No. You can dress this option up a little bit. You can get a 5-gallon bucket. Line that with a couple of bags. Okay, there's one option. Makes it a bit nicer. You can even get a snap-on toilet lid for the 5-gallon bucket, such as the Luggable Lou. The cheap RV living guy made his own toilet seat, just wrapping a little foam insulation around the back of a 5-gallon bucket.
This is literally 6 years old. This is nothing but a pipe insulation. It's very comfortable.
So you can dress this option up to be a little bit nicer for you. Now you can't go in it multiple times because smell will for sure be an issue. So some people might consider it less convenient than the cassette toilet. But you know, when public restrooms exist again, this is a very viable option. Option number 4, composting toilets. Now this is the one that I chose to go with, and I love this option. Composting toilets separate liquids from solids. You pour composting material over the solids. Now this undergoes a process to create a material called humanure. A hilarious and cringy word, but this stuff really works. Now you can build your own composting toilet like I did in this video right here. Or you can find some parts that you got laying around and just kind of jerry-rig it yourself. Yet another DIY option is to purchase a composting toilet that has been built by somebody else. I found these by searching composting toilets on eBay, and I actually saw a good selection. I wish I had thought to look for these before I started building my own. I probably would have done that and saved myself a lot of time. Now, no matter what you do with these DIY options, make sure that you have a ventilation fan from your composting toilet to the outside of your vehicle, okay? I've heard horror stories of people's vehicles reeking because they neglected to vent their composting toilet. Don't do that, please. If you're not gonna vent your composting toilet, you may as well just shit on the driver's seat. Okay, that might be a little dramatic, but please make sure to vent out your composting toilet. Don't take any chances. Now, another option for composting toilets is to just buy one from a manufacturer. Now, this tends to be super expensive, so it's not a great option for a lot of people, but it does exist and they work great. Probably the most famous is the Nature's Head composting toilet. You also got the Airhead composting toilet, but there is a whole plethora of composting toilet manufacturers that you can find with a quick search. Now with the composting toilets, you're gonna have to dump the liquids pretty frequently depending on what size of bottle that you're using with it. If you're just one person using an average size urine bottle for a composting toilet, you can probably expect to empty it maybe once a week if you're staying well hydrated, maybe a little longer than that if you're low on water. If you got 2 people, cut that in half. Now the solids will also have to be emptied, and that frequency varies a lot. It can be a couple weeks, maybe a month or so. All depends on what composting toilet you have. And you're also going to need to keep some composting material on hand, such as some... Thought I had some in here. Imagine I'm holding coco coir. Such as some coco coir or some sawdust. And that's composting toilets. Nice and easy. Now the 5th and final type of toilet for your schoolie, van conversion, or other home on wheels, and probably the most badass, incinerating toilets. Based on a Pokemon, these toilets light your shit on fire. The one that I've seen most commonly online is the Incineroar, but there's a big problem with this one. It takes 1,800 watts of power. That's right, it uses electricity to burn up your waste. And that's not a great option for those of us doing things off grid, because 1,800 watts is a lot of power. If you started looking into electrical stuff, I'm sure that you know generating heat with electricity is very electricity expensive. You want to avoid that if you can. Thankfully, if you do like the idea of an incinerating toilet, there are some that use 12 volts of electricity to generate a spark, very small amount of wattage, and propane to actually get the fire going and burn up your waste. Now once your waste is burned up, you've literally just got a little tray of ash. So your waste burns up, you can use it a bunch of times, and then finally just empty out this little ashtray, slide it back in, and you're good to go. Now the only downside that I can see in incinerating toilets is they tend to be super expensive, which makes sense. They're basically a poop crucible. There's super hot fires burning up all your waste, and this toilet has to be very well machined so that that fire doesn't spread to the rest of your vehicle. And there you have it, everybody, the 5 types of toilet for your schoolie, van conversion, other camper vehicle, your home on wheels. This is how you can poop on the road. So hopefully next time somebody asks you, oh, how are you gonna poop? How are you gonna poop? Now you have your answer. Quick little bonus tip, some things you're going to want to have on hand for all of these options. Some biodegradable toilet paper, maybe even some wet wipes, and for sure some hand sanitizer. Okay, you can never be too safe with this stuff. Human waste is very serious, you can get very sick. You want to make sure you're getting as clean as possible, especially on the road where healthcare can be kind of iffy. Hope you learned something today. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe to our channel so that the YouTube algorithm gods will show us some love. This has been Luis for Bus Voyage, signing out. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for new videos every Thursday.
And if you want to learn more about the bus conversion process, or you just enjoy watching us do it, feel free to watch some more of our videos over here or over here. That felt pretty good.